Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Mahadi Selepe. Thank you for being here. So I just want to thank you so much for your kindness and your care since my upload about losing L'Amour. I really appreciate it. You guys have been so awesome. So that was a pre-recording I did in September, as noted on the video itself, and I uploaded it last week. And yeah, it sort of it raised back those emotions as I was editing it. Of course, there was a few cries, okay, maybe a lot, but then yeah, really sad for you guys, heartbroken for you guys. Your response. Oh, sorry guys. In Australia, flies, they have no manners. Like, they're not like African flies. African flies, at least they're scared of people. These ones, they can sit on you. Yeah. So I will be doing this a lot. I'll try not to. Oh my days. So just heartbroken for you guys. Feeling really bad that I made you all really sad. But I really thank you for being so amazing and supportive and incredible. So I think I will be doing another. I have a lot of stories, guys. I think that was my first story time. I have been thinking of doing some story times as part of my channel content. But my stories, are all really sad. That's the only thing. But with sharing, of course, I hope to encourage and strengthen those who have gone through or are going through, something similar, and also to try and awaken some empathy in those who don't or have not gone through the same. So just to share a bit about what happened afterwards, without going to lots of detail. I hope you guys can hear me as well. And I thought I'll record while I'm walking, just so it's not too heavy, the video. So what I did, so my husband, like I mentioned on the video, if you have not watched, go back and just see the previous upload. So it would be like the last 4 uploads. You'll see it about losing our 15 weeks old baby, L'Amour. Shortly after he died, we had such a beautiful send-off. We're trying to find the video, but I think we'll probably, when we find content, when we find that the videos and stuff to show you his memorial service / funeral, maybe we'll post it like next year or something, because I think it's still really raw right now for a lot of you. So I just feel, I don't want to just cut it off and go to different subjects, like be happy subject. You guys know me, those of you who have been on my channel before or follow me on my other socials, I'm such a happy-go-lucky person. But I think it would be a bit insensitive to just go into happy things straight after uploading that. So I think just, respect for you guys, my new subscribers, try not to have that different extreme change in the mood of content. But so I hope this video is going to be the transition. I have other pre-recorded videos on different subjects that I'm going to be uploading And yeah, so this is just to touch base and say big hugs. If you have gone through something like this, please seek help. And even for us, in your comments, you guys suggested we get help, because yeah, we never did, and I realized just watching back how much it's a lot. You know, when you're going through it, you don't feel it. I certainly did not, because I was numb. I was pretty devastated the first day, and that when we kept going, we went to his mortuary. In his room, you'll see on the pictures on the third upload of me telling the story. We had a friend who came, and we actually prayed for resurrection. It's not funny, but I really believed he would resurrect, because we were like, whoa, imagine if he died only to resurrect. Because we had this friend who was really spiritual. I don't know if he's seen people raised from the dead or what, but anyway, he has witnessed a lot of things happen. You know, he has dreams about the future and things like that people would rather avoid, you know, to be on the safe side. So he was shown something. But anyway, afterwards, he did say that God showed him that Lamo was not gonna rise, but he didn't wanna discourage us. I know he sounds dodgy. As I'm speaking, I'm like, you guys might be thinking, but he was a genuine guy. Like he said if we wanted to go pray, you know, we could, and we asked they were really nice, the hospital guys. He was in his own room and on a bed. I think they put him out there for us. So if you see, he's on a cot bed. That there is a mortuary. So it's just like a room, a bedroom, a nice bedroom with sofas and teddy bears, and he was on the cot bed. So I think like when they know when you're coming, they then take them out of the fridges, they put them there nicely for you. So there's still that illusion. So we prayed and prayed. I can't remember how long we were in there for, but long enough for him to start bleeding. I think because he was melting basically. And I think, yeah, we gave up at some point. We accepted, and that's when, I think after that, you know, I stopped crying really. And at his funeral, you know, people were just thanking me for being strong for them, because they were crying, and Mulapo really cried, you know, he really cried because he had a speech. He cried so much. Well, he made me cry. Otherwise, I was just so grateful for people who came, you know. I don't know why I thought people would not come. But it was beautiful. It was really beautiful, guys. It was truly amazing. And the next day, so they don't do funerals we do our funerals on Sunday. We used to anyway, growing up. But now, because so many people are dying, funerals are done even during the week. And I first saw it in the UK, the during the week funeral thing. So we had ours, the venue we wanted, Christ College. You know, on Sunday they have church. So I think the funeral was Friday. And then on Sunday, we went for the crematorium. It was in another chapel, and his white casket was just sitting there, and we sang one or two hymns. I can't remember. We had our Pastor Tremere that I mentioned, and our friends, and my dad and Mulapo's mom came. We had a as I mentioned how broke we were. We couldn't afford to bring our parents over. That's the other thing, downside of living abroad. So our friends, pastor, is he a pastor? Anyway, my friend and brother, Mr. Mohotu Makhalayani, bought my father a ticket to come to the UK for the funeral. And our friend Pitso Tsibulani bought my mother-in-law, Mlapo's mom, a ticket to come to Lamu's funeral. So we had them and our friends Sarah and Stuart and our kids in the chapel. Then we prayed and his casket just went on a wheel behind the curtain. And yeah, I can't remember when we got the ashes back, but they had an option to bury the kids there because they have like lots of graveyards, like it's like it's just the ground and flowers. You wouldn't know that it's graves, but we opted to keep them because we knew we're not gonna live there forever. Even if we did, we wouldn't want to leave him there. I mean, I know it's silly because we believe when Jesus comes we'll all rise up and stuff, so it doesn't matter where you are, but we prefer him to be buried where we are. So when we get out of those graves, we're like, there you are. So we got to keep the ashes. And then after that, my husband got he went into GP training, like I mentioned. Like here and in the UK, it's not like in South Africa where once you're a doctor from uni, you can be a GP. You can open up your own GP practice. Here in the West, you have to train. GP is a specialty. It's a 3-year training. It's quite tough. A lot of people fail. The standards are really high to even qualify to start, to be accepted. And you have to have been a doctor, a hospital doctor, for a certain number of years. It's quite a big thing. So Mulapo got a job at a teaching hospital in Scarborough, in England, and it was a locum initially, but then it ended up it was still a locum, I suppose, but now a long-term one. And he was actually training doctors who were training, like student doctors. He was responsible for them. Like, he went right in the deep end after working at rehab for 5 years, geriatric rehab. Now he was working in medicine, like medicine department, where you do everything, all sorts of complicated stuff, and at this huge hospital, and he is the guy in charge. They made him the guy in charge because of his experience. I don't know where the doctor was, but yeah, he got that. I mean, it was good money and huge responsibilities, things that he had never done. They put him in there, and goodness, he lived on prayer. And the hospital was very busy. People were very ill. People were, almost dying. Like, people's lives depended on him just after he lost his son. But I guess it helped him because he was fighting tooth and nail to keep those people alive. And because of that job, that's where he then learned about the GP training openings. I think there was 2 openings. He could apply in March, and he could apply in something like that, 2 times a year where you can apply. And they had closed already, and he had never even thought of going to the GP training. And then his students, I think one of his students one of his junior, it wasn't a student, they were applying. and a few people had not gone in. But they were saying there was some sort of opening of late applications that could be done. So Mulapo applied. He talked to me about it, and of course GP training meant we were going to be together in Scarborough. So Scarborough is like 5 hours away from Wales on the bus, which is what he took. He took the coach, and so we didn't see each other really. I think he came home after a month or something, and then went back, you know. He then trained. He did the GP thing, the tests that they need to write and everything. And out of that whole hospital, he was the only one that got accepted. You know, look at God and his favor. That's how he got into GP training. Me, back at home, I became silent. I did not talk to my daughter. I was always holding her anyway, hugging her, but so Harley took a long time to speak. She took a long time to speak. Her speech was just not there because mommy was not talking to her at all. I was just quiet. And I remember, I think the day Mulapo left or something, I read The Long Walk to Freedom for some reason. Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. I read the book in one day. Okay? Number one, I'm not a reader. Secondly, that book is huge. It's thick. I did not sleep overnight. I read the book and I was crying with, you know, Mandela's stories. Oh my days, I think that's when I got my I'll write the word if I remember it. I cried. You know, and yeah, I was home until Mulapo. As soon as his GP things went through, it meant we had to move to Kettering, because that's where he got the, you know, base. Because once you get accepted, then you have to, you go, there's different centers, different places, and you can only stay there and, you know, work there. You can live wherever, but then you have to travel to the places that actually offer the GP training. If my memory serves me correctly, but I remember us having to move there, and that was amazing. We moved, guys, to Kettering, and he did his thing. We were there for 3 years, and yeah, we lost our house, we lost our cars. We had already lost our cars, but yeah, our house got repossessed. Things were bad. Like everything, you know. And even before AMOUR, I mean, throughout our time in Wales, things were just hard, guys. You know, finances, marriage. There was quite a lot. And honestly, our story is a story of God. It's a story of how amazingly God can pick us up and fix and put things back to normal. You know, some kind of normal, different kind of normal. And how God keeps God is good. Yo, guys in, hey. Like you guys, you know, I told you the story of AMOUR, but it's not even probably the most painful because of the loss of a person. But when you look at it, that it was not the only thing that we were going through. Yeah, and I can't tell you how we survived that. But to say it was God. You know? So, yeah. And then I went to, let me check, I'm on 19 minutes. I don't want this to be too long. But yeah, I wanted to mention this. But I think I'll mention details on another video if necessary. I then went home, because I was not well. I was just home, quiet. I just spoke to Rhea. Was the one who always no chatting me up, but I was quiet. I was not talking. While Mulapo was working away, I asked Mulapo if I can go home. So of course he didn't pay debts, bought me a ticket, bought me and the kids tickets. We went to Joburg. We stayed with my sister. It was the most, what's the word called? Therapeutic experience. On our way, let me tell you, when we went to Joburg, we get to the airport. When we get to the airport, we stayed with Busi and Brabeki. I mentioned them as well, because they lived near the airport. They lived in Slough. Well, it's not Slough, but it's nearer the airport, but it's still under Slough. When we get to the airport to check in, Ria's passport is expired. That's how unwell I was. Which mother goes to the airport to travel to South Africa with an expired passport? I didn't even know his passport was expired. Where do you start telling the people that work there that, hey, you've got no idea. This mind has not been working. Fortunately, because we were going to South Africa and he had a South African passport, he could travel. But he couldn't come back. So as soon as we got to South Africa, we had to, go and try and get the passport. And Mulapo had connections. I think it was Boizim Kize to make sure they speed up the things. I went on the train, traveling to the passport place, and people were telling me, we don't go on planes here. What are you doing? I don't know. I wasn't afraid of anything. I used to go on the train every morning. We went there with Ria, passport application, then we went back. Like, I was in Joburg quite a long time with my sister. I'll stay in the shade. I'm almost where I was going. I'm meeting my friend here to work out. I was staying with my sister and her family. Oh, guys, it was so therapeutic, and we hadn't seen them in a long time, because we couldn't afford to go home. I think it had been years, since we had last been home, and we stayed with them. My brother-in-law was unwell. He was always coughing. I didn't know why. Nobody knew why. After I left my brother-in-law, after I left my sister's place, after I went back to the UK, I later on, okay, she's not here yet, I walk up and down the stairs while I wait for her. After I left, I went back to the UK. I started by having some patches on my legs. I didn't know what these patches were. They're like black, purplish, strange. And Mulapo said to me, I think that's TB. Like TB. Patches on the legs. I went to the GP. I told him I think it's TB because my husband thinks it's TB. They said, are you coughing? I said, no. Are you sweating? No. Are you losing sleep? No. Not really. I said, well, I have been losing sleep since I lost my boy. Everybody knew that I had lost my boy. Like I said, it's a very small town, village town. They said, nah, if you're okay, how do you feel though? I said, no, I feel okay. I just feel tired and I just have these patches. I don't know what they are. They're like, nah, well, let's just see what happens. But I think it's I don't know. We don't know what it is. I don't think it's anything to worry about. 6 months later, I think it was, I can't remember what else I was presenting with, but I remember there was something else, which I can't remember now. Still, they didn't take tests, they didn't take anything. They were saying, no, if I'm not coughing, because that GP surgery, like all doctors were your doctors, that's how it worked. So I was seen by different people. I told them I had patches a few months ago on my legs, but they're gone now. So I'm not sure what's happening now. Like I said, I didn't remember what the problem was this time round. But they said, nah. I mean, these people don't know TB. The white people in Britain, they don't know. Even I didn't think it. Even I was thinking, nah. Because then, later on, my brother-in-law went to the doctors and was diagnosed with TB. And then the other thing that they were asking was, were you ever diagnosed for the TB when you were young? When you were born? I was like, yes. They said, well, then it can be. Then by the time we moved to Kettering, this was in Wales when I first had the patches. When we got to Kettering, I now had a big stomach. And people were congratulating me on another baby. Oh, guys, Mahadi, this is so amazing. You know, you can now forget about, people say things. I was like, I remember my friend Busi telling me, they were asking me if you're pregnant. I'm like, no, not that I know of. Anyway, I'm not. And I hadn't, at that point, until then, I hadn't realized. I thought I was getting fat, because I had now started eating, like stuff. And then it started getting painful. Then that's when I went to the doctor. And we were like, it was the first time we went to the doctor in Kettering. So we registered and we said it's an emergency. I went with my husband. We just said, doctor, I have TB. The doctor didn't even question me. He just asked a few questions. And then he transferred me to the TB clinic at the hospital. When I got there, they take a fluid. They do a scan. They find I'm full of fluid. They check. The fluid was green. They showed me. Like they took out the... Okay. After they take the scan and find I'm full of fluid, they then take me to another room. They say, okay, we have to drain some of this fluid and test it. And that's what they do. When they take it out, they had this huge syringe. It was green. They test it, they call me back. You do have perineal TB. Yup. So apparently because I was so low, depressed, was I depressed? Anyway, my immune system was low because of what I was going through. So it didn't matter that I had been I've just said the word not long ago. It didn't matter that I had an injection to prevent the TB when I was younger. I still got it because my immune system was so low at the time that I was in contact with someone who had TB. So yeah, we're good now. I'm good now, and really thank you for, everything. So if you need to talk, I suggest you get some counseling, but my details are on the description box if you just want to talk to someone who's been through it. Just the chat. I'm open to that. So sorry guys if you have been through losing a loved one, friend, mother, dad, sister, brother. It doesn't have to be a child, but a child. I think people get to be really insensitive. They were saying, oh, at least he was still young, you hadn't really had time with him, imagine if he was older. And I have had a miscarriage before, I mentioned, and people were saying at least he was... People say the worst things. People say the worst things, I tell you. Worst things. So if you're listening, you haven't lost anybody, just be courteous. Just be kind. Be sensitive. Please don't come up with, oh, at least he'd lived. At least he was 10, so at least you had some time with him. Oh, at least he wasn't born yet anyway before you got too attached. Guys, Just say, I'm so sorry. And zip it. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Love you loads. But remember that God loves you even more. And that is true. Ciao, ciao.